Happy Monday. Hope your week is starting well and hope that you are staying well. My name is Glenn. Glenn. It's my middle name, and it feels strange to use it, even at this point in my life. This is my passport. And when you travel overseas and you use a passport, apparently your middle name is a real big deal. So the last time I really used my middle name was my trip in February. There's a cool story in the Bible about God's middle name. It's in the book of Exodus. God has just asked Moses to go face one of the most frightening and imposing dictators of all time, Pharaoh. And Moses asks, God, is there a name I can use here? Is there a backstory for you, God, that I can maybe use if I approach Pharaoh or talk to the people of Israel about you? And there's this great line in the book of Exodus. God says to Moses, I am who I am. That's what you shall say to the children of Israel. I am has sent you. Whew. And I think at that moment there was some spaghetti western background music cutting in. God doesn't need past credentials. God doesn't need a middle name. God doesn't need a future title. I am. As we're celebrating Easter, and I hope you are celebrating Easter with all of your names, by the way, I think about my middle name, and I like Glenn. It's a good name. But my problem is the only time it's ever used is when it's ominous at a TSA checkout line, or if I'm in trouble. When my mother would say Andrew Glenn Ross, it was never good. And to this day, when my wife Michelle says Andrew Glenn, I just immediately go to my timeout corner, and I either use one of two phrases: I'm sorry, or it wasn't me. Glenn has never been a great, to my ears, it's just not good. Andrew Glenn means I'm in trouble. Well, God's name is I am. But as we're celebrating Easter, I want you to remember this as well. Mary Magdalene's name was known by many in many directions. Her past, who she was. But there she is at Jesus' grave, early in the morning. She's at a tomb. And she's perplexed and now weeping because the body seems missing. And she thinks she's talking to the gardener. Please tell me where you've taken the body. And then Jesus, who's alive, who has risen from the dead, says to her, Mary. Mary. And she knows who's talking to her. And she spins around. And she yells out, Teacher, and embraces Jesus. God's grace for you, God's love, broke open death. And we have to claim that every day in this fearful, deathly environment we've been in lately. God so loves you that even though he knows your middle name, he'd rather not use it. He wants to call you who you are with life-saving love. It's why God, in the beginning with Moses, said, I am. He doesn't want to be known as a God of the past or a God of the future. God's grace is to be experienced now, in the present. That's why his love and presence in our lives is a gift. How is God speaking your personal first name today? And will you embrace him and let his grace embrace you? Happy Monday. Lord's blessings and joy to you. No middle name.